Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 3, and today we're taking a look at the 1971 Chevrolet Vega GT. Now this is a car that was produced from 1970 to 1977, with the first model year being in 1971. And yeah, it was a huge success in terms of sales, with more than 2 million made. And this is the hatchback coupe version. There was also a notchback sedan, a station wagon and a panel delivery version. And yeah, it also has the F41 handling option, which has improved suspension, special tyres and a different trim. And even though a reception with this car was positive in an initial year, with 1974 being the peak year of its sales at 460,000, yeah, as time went on, the car got a reputation for being unreliable, being subjected to quite a lot of rust, and just generally not having all that much in terms of engine reliability either. So yeah, unfortunately a great concept and great design and overall a great car in terms of this game was let down by you know, manufacturing issues and general lack of actual you know, foresight, because you know, this was inevitably quite rushed in terms of production, because it was a kind of a response to the gas crisis of the early 70s. A lot of car manufacturers were caught short on that regard. But yeah, it does have its positives. Like I said, it looks great. Interior wise, it's quite roomy, as you can see. You can easily get 4 or 5 people in there. And yeah, in terms of boot space, it's really rather quite accommodating, as you can see. Being a hatchback, it's really rather practical. And yeah, in terms of the engine, even though the engine did have its problems, it was pretty radical for the time. Aluminium block with an iron head, and yeah, inline 4, 2.3 litres, and it produces 110 horsepower and 138 pounds-feet of torque, which is pretty decent. It's nearly as much as an AMC Pacer, which had a massive inline 6 engine. And yeah, this also weighs a lot less as well, at 2,230 pounds, so it's nearly 1,000 pounds less than the AMC Pacer. And this is no less practical and no less roomy. Can carry just as many people, can carry just as much in the rear end, and is lighter for it. So yeah, like I said, its reception wasn't all that great. And like I said, in 1974 it did peak at 460,000 units, but by the time 1977 came around, it would drop to a massive, well, a little, only 78,000 units. So that is a huge drop in only a few years, and that's just because the reputation came back on it, and nobody really could trust the thing. So yeah, solid design, solid kind of, you know, concept, but execution was not all that great. But let's take it out there and see what this car can do. Right, let's see what this Vega can do. So as far as subcompacts go from that time, this is up there with the best, quite frankly. I think it is better than the Pinto, even though that car is also quite lightweight like this vehicle. It's a lot better looking and yeah, a lot quicker than that car. Though obviously we don't have that car in this game, so I'm not going to talk about the Pinto too much. But I have driven it on Forza Motorsport 4, and yeah, it's not all that great. Compared to the AMC Pacer, well, like I said, it is a lot lighter than that car. It's also got a fairly decent amount of power. It's a lot quicker than the AMC Pacer, purely because, well, that Pacer does have about 10 extra horsepower than this and a bunch more torque, but because it weighs so much more, like I said, it weighs nearly 1,000 pounds more. This car is just quicker than it to 60, to 100, and in terms of top speed. The only other subcompact on this game really is the AMC Gremlin X, and even though obviously that has a much larger engine than this, 150 horsepower as well, and far more torque as well, it's obviously going to be a lot quicker. And even so are the smaller engines on that car in real life that aren't on this game. So I'd say the Gremlin is slightly better. I actually do prefer the Gremlin somewhat more, and that's not just because of the V8. I do actually like the way it looks, and just like the whole idea of the thing. And that's even though it does obviously weigh a lot more than this. But this car is, like I said, up there with the best, and so it's only slightly below the Gremlin. And that's because, well, it's got plenty of else going for it, and it's even quicker than the Gremlin in terms of top speed. 0 to 60 in 11.3 seconds, 0 to 100 in 31.1 seconds, and it will do a top speed of 120 miles an hour, which is actually about 7 miles an hour quicker than the Gremlin, and that's purely because this has an extra gear. The big flaw with that Gremlin is that it only has 3 gears. This has 4, and therefore has a higher top speed for it. So yeah, really like this car. It's not got the best handling in the world. It does understeer a fair bit, which I really wasn't expecting for a rear-wheel drive car, especially one that is quite lightweight. But besides that, it's pretty decent to drive, and yeah, it's got plenty going for it. I can see why people like this car initially. It's got a decent amount of power, it's decently quick in terms of acceleration, it's got a high rate of speed, like I said, higher than the Gremlin and also higher than the Pacer, and yeah, it's also obviously, because it's lightweight, quite frugal in terms of fuel economy, and also because it has quite a small engine. Not many cars from this era had 4-cylinder engines that were this powerful, and this car itself dropped significantly as the years went by, from 110 horsepower to about 84. So yeah, the first year of this car, even though it's probably going to be the one with the most problems because of, you know, reliability and engineering issues, it's easily the most powerful and most likely the most fun as well, because it is the most powerful. You could actually get a twin cam Cosworth engine in this car later down the line, but they were quite rare and really rather quite expensive, so they didn't sell all that much. So I bet it's difficult to find a Vega with that engine, but that engine itself did also have the same amount of power as this vehicle does, so yeah, that would be worth looking out for. But I'm sure plenty of people swapped the engine out of this and put a V8 in it, which a V8 was planned for this car at some point, but it never happened, and I'm sure plenty of people do that to this day, putting in big V8s, because yeah, it's got the rear wheel drive, it's got the lightweight, and all it needs is a big load of power to make it an extremely quick car, so no surprise that people do that. But I like this car stock, and I'm extremely glad they put it in the game. There aren't enough 70s subcompacts from America in Forza games, and hopefully this is a sign of better to come. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.